Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another live stream and all the latest in Chelsea's search for a new manager. Another day at the circus, things moving very swiftly. Less than 24 hours after Mauricio Pochettino's sacking, we have already got candidates in pole position. People believed to be close to taking the job. All that to dive into. Ipswich Town's Kieran Mckenna believed to be in pole position, according to BBC Sport. Enzo Maresca, another one high up amongst the possible candidates to maybe take the job. We've got all the latest fallout from the players as well. I've never really known a managerial sacking to cause such widespread response from players. It's clear that Pochettino was very popular. He was very well liked, and the players aren't happy about it. Chelsea have also tried to get Sebastian Hoeneß, but again, that seems seems unlikely at this point in time. But right now, things are moving fluidly, as there always are. Things move fluidly. At lunchtime, Enzo Maresca was reportedly the favourite, and now we're at a stage where, come sort of Wednesday evening, Kieran Mckenna is believed to be in pole position for the Chelsea job. I'm not quite sure that I had this on my bingo card that Pochettino would be sacked after a strong finish to the season, and then Chelsea would replace him with a manager potentially that has come from the Championship. But here we are, guys. Here we are. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be an interesting one. I don't really know what to say. I don't really know what to say on this, because this is what fans wanted. Fans wanted Pochettino gone. I know you can't tell me that any fan that wanted Pochettino gone believes that a manager from the Championship is going to be a better choice to have next season than continuing with Poch for one more season. There's not a single person that can tell me that. And I don't want to hear it from people saying, we only wanted Poch out because we wanted Tuchel back, or we thought we were going to get an elite manager. Well, use your brains, understand your football club, understand the people in charge. That was never going to happen. That was never going to happen. It's not the end of the world, but it's poor in terms of replacing him with a Championship manager. I'm not saying that Poch was going to be the guy that takes us and wins loads of trophies, but he was laying good foundations, and we could have benefited with those foundations for another year, whilst managers that we're looking at have another year's experience with their clubs. That would have made a lot more sense. Would have made a lot more sense. But sense and Chelsea are two things that don't go together. Fans don't seem to have an awful lot of sense. No one really knows what they want, and I don't want to be disrespectful to the likes of Enzo Maresca and Kieran Mckenna. Clearly, young, up and coming, bright coaches. McKenna's done an exceptional job at Ipswich, taking them from League One to the Premier League in back-to-back seasons. He's clearly got something about him as a manager. He's worked under Jose Mourinho at United. He's part of the coaching staff at United. He's clearly got something about him. But to suggest that what his body of work now warrants stepping up from Ipswich to Chelsea is staggering. Absolutely staggering in my mind. I don't get how the club think that they can appoint someone, right, with the like a Mckenna, like a Maresca, someone clearly with far less experience than Pochettino, and have the same expectations for them to achieve top four and challenge for trophies. That's not happening. That I can tell you now. If Kieran Mckenna comes in, I will support him and I'll back him. Whatever the manager is, I'll support him and I'll back him, and I want him to do well. But I can say now, there is almost no chance, right, if Kieran Mckenna is named as Chelsea manager next season, that we finish in the top four. I think we can say it now. If Pochettino was staying, I would have said there was a decent chance to finish in the top four. Now with Maresca coming, with the Maresca or a Mckenna, that there's no way we finish in the top four, and there's also no way that the season expectations set by the ownership should be top four for a manager who has never managed in the Premier League, for a manager that has got zero top flight experience, and for a manager that 2 years ago was managing in League One. Like, how is that possible that those expectations should be the same as they would have been for Maurizio Pochettino? Those expectations are fair for Pochettino, but don't set those expectations and then you see the managers that we're linked with and expect those expectations to be achieved. That simply can't happen. I'm not saying that McKenna, isn't a good manager, won't go on to be a good manager. But if I'm Kieran McKenna, I know this, like my stock's high right now, but I'm staying a million miles away from this. The chances are that he'll be out. He'll be out by Christmas with a fat payoff, and he'll go and rebuild himself somewhere else. I honestly believe that he'd be better off. He'd be better off staying at Ipswich for a year, or he'd be better off going to Brighton, because that is a more logical step than stepping straight into Chelsea. What's this? I'm going to come back to the McKenna stuff. Hold on a second. What's going on here? Dino Topmüller, current Frankfurt manager, is a name mentioned to me, according to Kave Sovokol at Sky. No, greatest respect. Who the fuck is that guy? Seriously, who is this guy? Obviously he's been is that Bayern Munich badge there? Has he been at Bayern before? That looks very like a Bayern Munich kit that he's wearing there. I mean, that can't be the Frankfurt kit, is it? No, he's obviously been a Bayern assistant or something along those lines. I mean, at this point, I think we're just making it up at this point. I think at this point, we're just making it up. And look, it's also important to not lose our minds at everything, at every name that comes out. You know that the people are just going to put names out there for clicks, but this is genuinely rather concerning. Look, I'll be real. I don't know anything about this geezer, but the fact that it's a name mentioned, I'm just so unsure about what's going on at this football club right now. I'm so disillusioned with this ownership, with these directors, with every single poor footballing decision that's being made at this football club. Everything. When we take we take a step forward and then take about 50 steps back. No one knows what they're doing. No one knows what they're doing. They're looking for a yes man, doormat type of manager that they can just walk all over. That is exactly what they're looking for. And any manager worth his salt is not going to come to Chelsea and is not going to want to work in those in this way of working, with everything being micromanaged. Having players forced upon you, whether you want them or not being listened to, whether you want to keep key players or not is totally irrelevant. The club are just going to do what they want to do. Chelsea is not a good environment to be working in right now. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. And there are genuine, serious concerns over the sporting directors and over this ownership. Seriously. It's a disgrace. It is an absolute disgrace. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I feel right now, guys, that with the way things are going, and of course it's a fluid movement at the moment, but right now for me, I feel like Kieran McKenna is going to be the next Chelsea manager. And if it's between him and Maresca, I'd rather have Kieran McKenna. If it's down to Kieran McKenna and Maresca, I'd rather have McKenna. I'll be honest, I haven't got a clue who this guy is. This is the first time I've actually ever heard of him. I don't know what Frankfurt did in the Bundesliga this season. This must have been the guy that replaced Glasner. Because Glasner was at Frankfurt, and then he obviously went to Palace. So this must be the guy that replaced Oliver Glasner. I've got no idea how Frankfurt have done under him. He's obviously not been there that long. Yeah, I mean, I'm at a loss here. But By the way, big up to everyone that's locked in already. 10 minutes in, 118 in the building, guys. Big up to everyone for the support. Greatly appreciate every single one of you. Smash the like button, guys. Get these likes up. Let's take this to well over 100 likes. What are we on? 45 likes. Get this up to 100 likes, guys. 123 in the building. Keep subscribing to the channel as well, guys. We had a good day yesterday. Plenty of new subscribers with the breaking news. So there's 123 in the building. There's definitely people that aren't subscribed. Please hit the subscribe button. 9,356. Let's try and get this to 9,370 tonight if we can. Let's move closer towards 10K, guys. Do your thing, people. Do your thing. This is a good community here. All good people. So yeah, please help me out, guys. I don't know what's going on here with this Dino Topmüller, but yeah, is a name that's mentioned. To be honest, at this point in time, I just reckon there's people's agents that are just literally mentioning names to try and get their clients in the spotlight to cash in on some positive, to cash in on some sort of some media time for their client. I don't know whether that Dino Topmüller is a genuine choice, but look, what we've got to say here, people, is that this ownership have got no idea what they're doing. Absolutely no idea. If you'd said to me 2 years ago, right? Was it less than 2 years ago, right? That we would have had Thomas Tuchel and we would have gone from Thomas Tuchel to Graham Potter to Frank Lampard to Maurizio Pochettino to potentially Kieran McKenna or Enzo Maresca, I'd say you're to check yourself into rehab and make sure you get off whatever you're taking, because that would just seem absolutely wild. Yet here we are, less than 2 years later, in a situation where this is what could happen. Genuinely, guys, 2 years ago we were world and European champions. Now we're looking at a manager who was in League One 2 years ago. This is how far we've fallen as a football club, and I've tried to remain patient with this ownership. I've tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. I've praised them for the ambition they've shown. I've praised them for certain things they've done. This yesterday is the final straw for me with them. They're going to have to do a lot to win me back on side, to win me back over, because right now every decision they're making is just further eroding my trust in them to do anything right. They don't know what they're doing. And before people say it's Todd Boehly, it's not Todd Boehly. Boehly took a back seat from day-to-day running of the club over a year ago. It's Bedadag Bali and Feliciano Lopez, I think his name is. It's Feliciano. That's a tennis player, isn't it? Feliciano something. That are the key decision makers at the football club. And they don't know what they're doing. They've got absolutely no idea. They've got their lapdogs, Winstanley and Stewart, who can seemingly do no wrong, who are being trusted again with another managerial search, despite failing previously. Pochettino was their appointment. Their exact words were, Maurizio was the outstanding candidate after an extensive and thorough search, right? And then 12 months later, they say in that Pochettino wasn't the right strategic fit for the football club. Well, you appointed him 12 months ago, so why are you not out the door as well? Why are you not out the door as well? It literally makes no sense. I mean, I don't know how fast things are progressing, if progressing at all, with Kieran McKenna. But what's clear here is that it's going to be a young manager. They want someone they can they want someone that they can control. They want someone that they feel has not got much of a backbone. That's not going to answer back to them. That's not going to question what they do. That's not going to show any authority towards them. That's not going to hold them accountable or challenge them for any mistakes that they've made. But yeah, I mean, look, we could even find ourselves in a situation where it's Thomas Frank again. Thomas Frank, another one who has been strongly linked with the Chelsea job. We hired the set piece coach from Brentford who Frank worked with. I mean, is that something to be concerned about? Is that just a new one? Is that just a bit of a coincidence, or is that why we've done it? I'm unsure at this point, really unsure. But Kieran Mckenna is likely to reject any new deal Ipswich offer him amid interest from Chelsea and Brighton. Talks of Ipswich are likely to take place this week, and they are expected to offer Mckenna a new deal to convince him to stay. BBC Sport understands that is expected to fail, with the manager and assistant Martin Pert feeling the time is right to move. Any club will need to pay at least £4 million compensation to take Mckenna and Pert. There's no panic from Ipswich. They are calm and recognise this comes with the territory after McKenna's stunning success. McKenna, a Boyhood United fan, spent 5 years at Old Trafford working under Mourinho and Solskjaer before joining Ipswich in December 2021. So, McKenna is likely to turn down a new deal at Ipswich amid interest from Chelsea and Brighton. So, I don't know what the situation is going to be here right now. I'm really not sure. Sebastian Hoeneß would have been a great one. Sebastian Hoeneß would have been a great one, but he turned down Bayern Munich, and he's reiterated fully his desire to remain with Stuttgart. He's done a phenomenal job there. They stayed up the season before in the relegation playoff, and then he's guided them to a second place finish. He's done a brilliant job, but again, still a relatively inexperienced manager, and we need a situation where I forgot I lost my trail of thought there. What the fuck was I saying? I don't know what I was saying then. It's gone. But anyway, look, McKenna appears to be in pole position. Is it an ambitious appointment? No, it's not. Is this likely to work out? I've got no idea. But I just feel like whatever happens now, if it is Kieran McKenna, for example, I need to do a bit more digging on him, try and find more out about him, see if I can collaborate with some people that know more about him if he does get given the job, or this gets more legs. But to be honest, it's clear they want a young up and coming manager. There's going to be no elite manager. There's going to be no big names coming to this football club because they don't want to be challenged, and big personalities will challenge the decisions that they are taking, as they should. And again, Fabrizio Romano stating that Chelsea, Fabrizio again mentioned McKenna and Maresca. No more names as of now. Chelsea still deciding internally who to go for. Sebastian Hoeneß' intention is to stay at Stuttgart, considered a really hard one, even though some people at Chelsea really appreciate him. That's going to be a difficult one. We can forget that. Yep, McKenna did start at Spurs. Yep, he did. I think he's worked in the Spurs academy. In fact, he did. He's definitely worked at Spurs. He 100% has worked at Spurs, Kieran McKenna. So, yeah, let's wait and see what happens on that one. But ultimately, guys, I think what this boils down to is Thomas Frank was brought up in an internal meeting at Chelsea. Remember, they already hired the set piece coach. Yep, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. We got big problems, guys. I honestly think we got big problems because no one knows what they're doing. They're trying to run a football club in a way in which a football club shouldn't be run. Manager should have a say in what happens. A manager should have a say in wanting to keep players that he views as key to his work, and he should be allowed to challenge authority. He should be allowed to challenge authority, and question decisions that have been made. That should be normal. That should be normal. These guys think they can just come into a football club. They've got no idea about football, and they think that they can just not be challenged about anything when they don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know what they're doing. At this point, what's the point in offering contracts? You might as well offer just a rolling, as I think someone just said it in the chat, rolling monthly contracts like you have for your fucking mobile phone. Just a rolling monthly contract, direct debit. It goes in, paid at the end of each month, and we assess your performance at the end of each month. There's no point giving these managers 2-3 year contracts because they'll be gone by one season max. They'll be gone by a season max, and and then they land a fat 8-10 million pound payoff, and then we go again. It's crazy. Honestly, it's absolutely crazy. What we're doing, it really is. And you know what you can tell, right? And again, here we go. This is the latest. Not here we go. Sorry, but this is the latest from Fabrizio. It must be from a YouTube video. It must be doing some sort of stream. But Chelsea are still making a list for the next manager. The names we have heard in contention are Sebastian Hoeneß, not easy, Thomas Frank, Kieran McKenna, Enzo Maresca. No favourite yet, as it's still being discussed. I can tell you now, it's going to be, it'll obviously be, I think it's almost certain in my mind, and I could be wrong here, but I think it's almost certain in my mind that it will be either Frank, McKenna, or Maresca. Hoeneß, I think, is going to be too difficult, and he wants to stay at Stuttgart, and I would advise him to stay there, to be honest. The other three, I mean, seriously, Frank, McKenna, and Maresca, I mean, none of them are great choices at all. But I think if what Chelsea are looking for, a young, progressive coach with clear ideas, style of play, good, like, attacking, free-flowing football, I think, to be perfectly honest, Kieran McKenna probably ticks the most boxes as to what this ownership are looking for out of that list of people. That's, for me, is I think where I'm standing with it. That, for me, is where is where I stand with it right now. That's the reality of the situation for me. I think it will be him. I think it's going to be McKenna, Maresca, or Frank. How the mighty have fallen, by the way, guys. And you know what? Like, how anyone can back or support this ownership or these sporting directors is beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. How anyone can back this ownership or these sporting directors. The previous shortlist, by the way, was Pochettino, Ange Postecoglou, and Vincent Kompany. 12 months later, we appear to be at Sebastian Hoeneß, which is not looking likely, Thomas Frank, Kieran McKenna, and Enzo Maresca. You're telling me that is if I saw that shortlist, right, Frank, McKenna, and Maresca, I'd think a bottom half. I think that was a shortlist for the Crystal Palace job, or that was a shortlist for Everton or something like that. A Chelsea managerial shortlist: Enzo Maresca, Thomas Frank, and Kieran McKenna. Seriously, is this some sort of joke? Is this some sort of joke? It's honestly beggars belief. It's absolutely laughable that a team that was world and European champions 2 years ago is now ending up with a shortlist of Enzo Maresca, Thomas Frank, and Kieran McKenna. Two guys that are in the championship this season just gone. Two guys with not an ounce of top flight experience between them. And it's I lose the will to live with this ownership and the decisions that they made. One of those on that shortlist also has to make UCL next season. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Please tell me. I mean, because Sebastian Hoeneß, I don't think is coming, but please tell me, out of those, the most likely to do it would be Hoeneß if he comes. But I think that's very, very unlikely. Please tell me, right, how Enzo Maresca, Kieran McKenna, or Thomas Frank is going to come to Chelsea and get Champions League football next season. They're not going to finish in the top four, and they're not going to win the Europa League if we end up in that. I mean, can you imagine the likes of these guys managing Cole Palmer, managing, Victor Osimhen if he comes in, managing elite top-level players? Can you imagine? Seriously, can you imagine? Look, Hoeneß has done a very good job, and he's building a good reputation for himself at Stuttgart. That is exactly what he should carry on doing for at least another season. I feel this would be a season too early for him, but please don't look at that list and tell me, right, that you're setting expectations for top four and to challenge for trophies when those are your choices as manager. Stuttgart had a massive what he did was phenomenal at Stuttgart last season, and barring a ridiculous freak season from Bayer Leverkusen, Stuttgart would have won the Bundesliga, having stayed up via the relegation playoff the season before. So look, he's done a very good job. But I think with Hoeneß, what we need to see now is, can he back this up? Because the previous season, Stuttgart almost went down. Now they've had a very good season. What can he do next season? There's going to be expectation on them. He's going to be Champions League football. People are going to know more about them. How does he adapt to that? I think that's really crucial in his development, you know. And again, all these names here are a massive, massive gamble, a huge gamble. And I don't care. You can be the most avid Poch out guy. Please, you cannot tell me that one of these options was better than keeping Pochettino. There's no way. And I can guarantee now, a lot of people that are Poch out are probably feeling a bit stupid right now when they're seeing who's likely going to be the next manager. Who is likely going to be the next manager? I think. Sorry. Sorry, where have I defended the ownership? I've defended them over certain things. I've made myself very clear right now that my trust in them is completely gone with the decisions that they're making, and I've called it out on multiple occasions. I'm not defending the ownership come rain or shine. I'll praise them where it's due and I'll criticize them where it's due. And right now, they're not doing a lot of things very well. And this is just another dreadful decision, another shocking decision. But how did we end up with this? How did we end up with this? That is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. How did we end up with this? Well done, European champions 2 years ago, to a short list of Enzo Maresca, Thomas Frank, and Kieran Mckenna. Yeah, great. Really full of confidence with this ownership and these decision makers. Can't believe it. Cannot believe it. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Remember what I said, guys. Be careful what you wish for. You people were wishing for this, and now look what we're looking at. Now look what we are looking at. The level of manager that we are being linked with is criminal. Absolutely criminal for an institution the size of Chelsea, with the history and the success we've had over the last 20 odd years. And yet we find ourselves with an ownership and with the directors that have put together a shortlist of 2 championship managers and a guy that nearly got Brentford relegated last season. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Holis isn't the one who made them a near relegated side. He saved them and got them UCL football. Fair. I don't know. Talk about falling upwards. I don't know what company's done to warrant being linked with the Bayern Munich job and you know, seeming like he's going to be a strong contender for it. Brilliant season at Burnley in the Championship, failed to adapt to the demands of the Premier League, and yet somehow seems to be finding himself in a position where he could land the Bayern Munich job after getting relegated with Burnley. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, there's something in the war, isn't there? There's something in there's something in the water. Something in the water. I don't know. I've not asked him, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, there would have been no one on that list there that he would have mentioned. Pretty sure that would have been the case. Yes, big up to everyone. Big up. Guys, keep smashing the likes. 177 in the building. Big up to every single one of you that's locked in. Smashing the likes, guys. 91. Let's get this up over 100. Keep subscribing to the channel as well, people. We are looking to hit 10,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. Keep hitting that subscribe button. Let's keep getting closer and closer. Do your thing, guys. But let's run these likes up. 91. Let's get this to 100. I mean, the shortlist is laughable. The shortlist is laughable. Don't believe what's really going to happen. That it's going to be one of these. It is going to be one of these. Please tell me who else you think it's going to be. I'd be stunned if it was someone outside of these 4 names. I'd be absolutely stunned. I really would. But you know, here we seemingly are. I don't want to hear anyone associated with the club talk about process, talk about patience, because you've mentioned those two things as an ownership, and you've not shown a single ounce of any of them. Single ounce of any of them. Of any of those things. So how can anyone trust this ownership or these directors to make the right decision when they've constantly made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision since they've been at this football club? All I can say is they've shown ambition in the transfer market by spending money, but they've got no idea how to, how to put together a football team. They've got no idea about stability or anything like that. They seem to know what they're doing in American sports, and they seem to have patience with the manager and stick with them. As soon as they come here, they're just pressing the eject button on average every 7 months since they've been here. They're looking for their third permanent manager and fifth manager in total since they took over almost 2 years ago. Bro, there's no smokescreen here. For real, there's no smokescreen here. Absolutely no chance of a smoke screen here. There really isn't. I'd be staggered if it wasn't one of these four. Hoeneß, I think is I think we can almost count him out. If I'm being brutally honest, I think we can almost count out Sebastian Hoeneß. I think it's going to be way too difficult. He's already, reiterated his desire to stay at the football club. So at Stuttgart, I don't think it will be him. Thomas Frank, we could be in big trouble. Yeah, bro, this is Chelsea. Welcome to the new reality. Welcome to the new reality. This is us now. This is us. No longer do we dine at the top table of European football and we go for the best of the best in the game. We're now Silva. Yeah, Kieran McKenna is 38 and Thiago Silva obviously 39. So yeah, Silva would have been older than McKenna if he'd stayed here. Look, no one's doubting that McKenna is not a good manager, and what he's achieved so far is phenomenal success. But that doesn't qualify him to step up and take on the Chelsea job. Like no one on this list here has done anything to warrant being in the conversation to take over at Chelsea. No one. Maresca and McKenna haven't. Thomas Frank hasn't. And Sebastian Hoeneß, no, he hasn't either. He's done very good work at Stuttgart, but that doesn't suddenly qualify him to take the Chelsea job. It simply does not do that. It simply doesn't do that. McKenna is decent. You say we ain't fucking it. We're Chelsea FC. Some of you, Johnny, come. I mean, look, McKenna's a good manager, but it's not for Chelsea. Not for Chelsea, guys. Not for Chelsea. No, not seeing that. No. Why doesn't Bowley get a tracksuit from the megastore and do it himself? Or to be fair, Bowley's not making the football decisions. It would be more fitting for Egg Barley to do that. I would have preferred that. I mean, I would never go that far. I mean, McKenna was an assistant coach or whatever. He was part of the coaching staff at United. Would I take Potter back at this point? I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know right now. Hoeneß has had one good season. Let's see how good he really is in the upcoming. This is my point where I'm always reluctant to take managers based on one good season, because you just don't know whether that was a one-off or whether that's what they're really capable of. And you're taking a huge gamble, a huge gamble. 20 years PC football manager experience. I think I qualify for the job too. Yeah, I reckon I probably do as well. Look, he's another promising up and coming manager. But again, guys, as I say, they believe that they've got concerns about whether he's the right tactical fit, and I don't see that. And I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. I really don't. I really don't see it happening. Bro, we're not going to go for Gasperini. Like he's old. Like he's old. There's like young manager means young manager. Gasperini is no chance whatsoever. Unfortunately, yeah, he is. Him and Feliciano are the main guys to be going at here. The main guys to be going at here. 100% are the main guys to be going at. to be honest, I've said this a number of times. Whoever it is, JT should be part of the coaching staff for whoever is their next manager. He has to be. I mean, who would I take right now? I mean, out of this list here, I would take Sebastian Hoeneß, but he's looking like going to be very difficult. If you're talking to me, Frank, Mckenna, or Maresca, boy, it's tough, isn't it? It's tough. I would probably say out of those three would be I would be taking Kieran McKenna. That would be my choice out of those three. But again, it's you're not picking great. You're not you're not choosing from a great list. The managerial hunt is going. The amount of names that we've seen today as a joke. It's like I swear agents are out there just linking every possible manager to get eyeballs on their client. It's important to realize, guys, that not everyone linked is going to be on the list. It's going to be a list of 4 or 5 names, I reckon. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. But for me, it's going to be a Maresca, a Mckenna, or a Frank. And to be frank with you, that's not good enough. That is not good enough. Again, a lot of people going on about De Zerbi in the chat. I don't see it happening, guys. That's gone cool. De Zerbi is a volatile, explosive character. They're not going to want that. They are not going to want a volatile, explosive character. De Zerbi left Brighton because of fallings out over the recruitment side of things. We're basically Brighton on steroids in terms of what we're doing. There's no way that if De Zerbi came in, which I think is highly unlikely, I'd give it until Christmas until he's fallen out and he's on his way. They don't want that sort of kind of, how can we put it, that sort of volatile character. They don't want an explosive type character. Basically, they don't want someone that's not going to be a yes man. That's what we're talking about here. And I don't know if it's fair to call managers yes men, but they like the reason for me why they're looking at these kind of managers is they know that they're not really going to challenge them. They know that they're not going to challenge their authority. They're just going to be grateful to be there because it's been a huge step up for them. It would have been the biggest club they've ever managed in their careers. They'll be grateful to be there, so they'll kind of just accept it for what it is. Whereas any manager worth their salt is not accepting any of this. Is not accepting it. I don't know who it's going to be, but I think for me personally, it's now looking like a Frank, a Maresca, or a Mckenna, which as a shortlist for Chelsea Football Club it's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. Really is embarrassing. I don't know where we go from here. Of course, come August, we'll get behind the team and that, and we want the team to do well, and we'll support the team and all that. Of course, that goes without saying. But we're in a situation here, guys, where whoever it is that comes in is facing a huge uphill task, huge uphill task, and I don't know what the solutions are to this. No big managers coming. We knew this. I tried to say this all along to people, and they seemingly just weren't having it. By the way, guys, over 200 in the building. Big up to every single person that's locked in right now. Appreciate all of you tuning in. Appreciate all of your support. Couple of favors. Keep smashing the like button, guys. Keep hitting that subscribe button as well. Love to get to 9,370 subs today if we can. That's another 10 subs. Dare I say it, let's try and get to 9.4k, another 30. Let's push the fucking boat out, guys. Another 30 subs, 205 in the building. There's definitely 30 of you people that haven't subscribed. So please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get to 9.4k and let's carry on with the show. I warned you about these losses a year ago. I'm generally worried about our club. I think it's right to have genuine concerns. It is 100% right to have genuine concerns. Of course it is, because, everything they've said has proven to be total bollocks from when they came in. Total bollocks. And 2 years down the line, the project is not any further along the line than it was when they first took over from Roman. You know, it's not any further down the line. I'm genuinely concerned about what's going on with this football club right now. You know, really concerned. Yeah, and you know what? I think we're going to start getting to a point, guys, where players are going to start questioning what's going on here, and they're going to start thinking, hang on a second, this wasn't what was pitched to me. This is not what I signed up for. I'm pretty certain, right, guys, that they didn't, when they are presenting the project to new signings, pretty sure they left out the slide that said, oh, by the way, we're going to sack a manager on average every 7 months. I'm pretty sure that wasn't part of the presentation. You know, you made certain promises to players, to managers, to staff, you know, to convince them to join. None of those promises have been kept. None of them have been. Bro, come on, you're deluded if you think it's going to be, if suddenly some amazing name's going to come out of thin air. Like, you might not want to admit it, but you know it's going to be one of these guys. You know it's going to be one of these guys. You know it's going to be one of these guys. You know, if it ends up being an Amorim, like that gives me some hope, but he's not really been mentioned unless they're keeping that one under wraps. And I don't know, but I'm not prepared to give them the benefit of the doubt on that one because of the way that they've been going about things. No, he's not. He's not. You know, he's got the potential to be for sure, but De Zerbi, for me, needs to prove that his first season at Brighton wasn't a one-off, and needs to prove that last season wasn't a blip. Do you know what I mean? It's sad when the club is moving. I was so excited for Poch and the boys next season. I was looking forward to it. Genuine optimism. Oh, mate, he's gone. These guys aren't going to appoint a new manager until they've sold the players they want to sell. They're going to sell Gallagher. They're going to sell Chalobah. They're probably going to look to sell Cucurella as well. They're going to get rid of everyone they want to get rid of, and then they're going to bring a new manager in, because that's how they operate. And they know now, with no manager currently in place, they can sell the players they want to sell without any pushback on it and without any backlash to it. I think it's somewhat weird that Amorim went from Liverpool West Ham meetings to nothing. Not really. I don't think so. I mean, Amorim, I don't think was ever going to go to West Ham. But you look at the situation, guys, and it's tough. It's really tough right now. Amorim, clearly, you know, Liverpool aren't stupid. There was clearly something they saw in Amorim that they didn't think was right for the football club. Now, of course, what's right for Liverpool and what's right for Chelsea are potentially two different things. But I think we have to trust, you know, in the decision makers at Liverpool, that they've seen something that, you know, it's not right. That they've seen something that's not right. But at the end of the day, this is where we are, people. This is where we are. Fitcho saying we need 2 centre-backs means we may go back to well, no, because saying you need 2 centre-backs is one to replace Silva and one to replace Chalobah. You know, that's what he'll be going off on that one. To be perfectly honest, that's how I would interpret that. What's there to be optimistic about? Because things were looking like they were going in the right direction, and now we've just torn all that up at the end of the season, dashed all that positivity, and now we're in a situation where we've got a situation where no one's happy with the potential shortlist of managers. You know. No, I wouldn't have thought so. I've never trusted these owners and their motives since day one. Look, to be fair, like, I respect and rate their ambition in the transfer market. Other than that, everything else they've done has been an unmitigating disaster. It's just been poor decision after poor decision after poor decision, and it's not good enough, guys. It's not good enough. But we're just playing ifs and buts. We're just playing ifs and buts. If I had my coaching badges, I could be on a short list for the Chelsea job. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, it's I as soon I never once wanted him out. There were times where I thought I can't see how he's going to be here next season, but I appreciated the difficulties of the job. And come the end of the season, you could see what he was doing. Players were coming back fit and available again. We were playing some good stuff. We're taking huge strides forward from the previous season. And I've got people telling me that we weren't improving or things weren't looking better. Of course they were looking better. Name one coach nation that had 5 W's in a row and got sacked. I mean, I can't think of one. I personally can't think of one. I hope Girona manager will be next, following his work over the past years, and can tell you he's doing. Look, again, Mitchell's done a good job at Girona, but it's one good season. Like suddenly, like if Mitchell hadn't have got Girona in the Champions League this season, right? No one's mentioning him. People are purely mentioning him. I wasn't. Why would I lie about that? Why would I lie about that? I know what I've said, and I've never once said I want this manager gone. Never once said that. So please don't say that I'm lying when I know what I've said. But if someone wants to find me the clip where I've said I want the manager gone, then I'm happy to accept that I'm wrong. But I have no recollection of saying that. I've said before that I can't see that how he can be here next season at times of the season. I've criticised him for a lot of things that he's done, but I've never once said that I wanted the manager gone. Yeah, well, why don't we just give it to one of the academy lads? Maybe that's why we're signing Esteval. You know, he's actually not coming to play football. He's coming to manage the team. How does everyone expect the new manager? Look, I don't want to be cynical and doom and gloom. I'd be I'd be shocked if he was here at Christmas. I really would, with the way things are going right now. I'd be shocked, absolutely shocked. Bro, a protest is not going to do anything. Protests don't do anything. We had a protest. There was a protest against the Ricketts, and barely anyone turned up, and barely anyone did anything. You know, protest is not going to work. These guys have got the club for 10 years minimum, regardless, so they're not going anywhere. So protesting is not the answer. I mean, shown some promise. Thought he was poor this season with Burnley. Expected more from him. Again, not right for the Chelsea job. He wasn't right for the Chelsea job 12 months ago. He's not suddenly right for the Chelsea job now. That's the reality of the situation here, guys. If these owners and board want to find their own Xabi Alonso, it's basically like it is. It absolutely is. I wouldn't be surprised once Fabregas has got his coaching badges and stuff. I really wouldn't be surprised if he at some point in the next, I'm going to say it now. I think there could be a strong chance that in 2 years, within the next couple of years, Fabregas could be the Chelsea manager. I'm gonna go out on a whim and say that I think there's a strong chance Fabregas could be the Chelsea manager within 2 years. I honestly think that. Honestly think there's every chance of that happening. When you look at the way this ownership are working, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's a real tricky situation, guys. I'm not saying Pochettino was like the best manager in the world. I'm not saying that at all. But for right now, for what we were doing, he's a damn sight better than anyone else that's on the list. You know, it's. Well, the ones that wanted Poch out a month ago are now moaning about the fact that he's gone. You know, stop flip flopping. Own your stance. Accept that that's what you wanted. It's incredible. Look, whatever the owners don't listen to the fans. You know, not in that regard anyway. The ownership is not going to listen to the fans in that regard. They simply aren't. That simply isn't going to happen. I mean, I don't know where to go from it. But otherwise, guys, there's so much coming in. I'll try and get through as much as I can in the chat. If you want to guarantee your comment gets read out, please do use the super chat function. Let's get through a few more bits of news. Let's talk a little bit more about Enzo Maresca, because again, he's another candidate that's strongly linked with the job. And Marzio will report, and obviously Maresca's Italian, Marzio an Italian outlet. Take it with a slight pinch of salt. Enzo Maresca is the main candidate to become new Chelsea coach. He is convinced on style of play. Release clause, 10 million euros. Maresca worked under Pep at Man City. He was the assistant last season in the treble-winning season and is known for an attacking style of play and not budging on his principles. I think during his time at Man City as well, he won the PL2 title with the likes of Cole Palmer and Romeo Lavia. Again, a huge gamble. Look, I think Chelsea, the ownership seemed to be obsessed with wanting to find the next Arteta, the next sort of Xabi Alonso or whatever. Look, Maresca appeals to them, I'd imagine, because he's Pep Guardiola's assistant. He's learned from one of the best. He's obviously done well at Leicester in the Championship. But again, how does this qualify him to be a candidate for the Chelsea job when he's been an assistant to Pep Guardiola and he's done one season in the Championship? I get it that, Arsenal appointed Arteta straight away after being Pep's assistant, but we look at it and it's a huge gamble. I don't know if I don't view Arteta as more of a gamble than Maresca. Maresca is a huge gamble. There's no denying that, and I just can't trust this ownership at all. I just can't trust them, guys. I can't trust them to do anything right. And would Maresca be a good choice? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced Maresca would be a good choice if I'm being totally honest. Would he be better than Thomas Frank? Look, let's put it this way: I'd rather have Maresca than Thomas Frank, but then I'd rather have Kieran Mckenna than Maresca. Look, of course, there are positives to Maresca. There are some positives for sure, but come on, this is Chelsea, for fuck's sake. Why are we looking at two managers from the Championship? We're obviously desperate to find, the next big thing. We're desperate to find our own project manager and, almost mold them ourselves. Well, that just isn't going to happen, guys. That just isn't going to happen. Yeah, maybe we should ask for Bruno Salter back. Maybe we should ask for Bruno Salter back. After all, the last bold manager we had was him, and he had 100%. He was unbeaten. Admittedly, only there for one game, but he was unbeaten. He was unbeaten. He was literally just assistant to Pep Guardiola. He didn't have any managerial experience. Maresca is less of a gamble than Arteta to Arsenal. Arteta had no. Yeah, true. I get your point there. American Bowley is a winner. Dodgers are a first-class organisation, but it took him a couple of years. They buy well and win every year. Again, Bowley's not making the footballing decisions. He stepped back a long time ago. Bowley's more involved on the business side of things now. It's Barley and Feliciano that are driving the footballing side of things, along with those idiots, Stanley and Stewart. But look, Maresca would be an interesting choice. Not one that I'm sold on. Not one that I'm entirely convinced upon either. That's the reality of the situation here. Owners are disgraced. They don't have a Scooby. The owners want a puppet/yes man. They didn't want to let the manager have a say in the transfer market, so Poch left. No top manager will want in. Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. It's very hard to disagree with that. It's very, very hard to disagree with that. I don't understand. Apparently, Eghbali's in London this evening, overseeing Chelsea's search for a new manager. Brilliant. He should be staying far, far away. Far, far away. What else have we got? Let's see what else we've got going on here. So, what was I looking for? So yeah, Iqbali in London tonight, overseeing the search. I don't. Fabregas has been an assistant manager. That's it. He's not even finished his coaching badges yet. He'd finished them in the summer. Look, the thing here, right? I mean, Maresca, obviously won the title with Leicester, but only just. They were 12 points clear at one point, and they literally scraped it by a point in the end. I don't think a lot of Leicester fans weren't particularly happy with him at certain points of the season. Far too open, no willingness to adapt on his principles. Whatever was happening, always would play the same way. Would always play the same way. And this is the thing. This is the big thing, guys. Whoever comes through the door next has to be given time and has to be here, regardless of what happens for the next 2 or 3 seasons. Simple as that. Has to be here, regardless of what happens for the next 2 or 3 seasons. It's as simple as that. Has to be here for the next 2 or 3 seasons. The next manager. We cannot have a situation where there's another managerial change in 6 to 12 months' time, and the fan base, which they won't do, they have to get behind the next manager, and there are going to be shit results, and they're going to go through shit runs of form. I don't want to hear anyone saying this manager needs to go, because we have to stick by this next manager, whoever it is, because we cannot afford to go again and again and again through managers. No, I don't see it being De Zerbi. He's too much of an explosive character. He's not someone that's going to operate as a yes man. Simply isn't going to happen. I don't see it being De Zerbi at all. I'd be stunned if it was De Zerbi. I really would. Don't see that happening at all. I don't know who it's going to be, and whoever it's going to be is a step back or a step down from Pochettino. That's just the reality of the situation right now, guys. There's no one here that can tell me that any of the names on the list are going to be a better shout than sticking with Pochettino for another season. They simply wouldn't have been. They simply would have been. And this is another thing that's going to happen. People are going to start growing disillusioned at what's going on. If we don't make the Champions League next season, then players are going to start wanting out, because this is not what they signed up for. Players will start wanting out, guys. That's the reality of the situation, because this is not what was pitched for them. 3 years to get back into the Champions League, constantly chopping and changing managers. This is not what was pitched to them. And players are going to want out. They're going to want out. And it's as simple as that. It's absolutely as simple as that. Players are going to start wanting out. And we could really, really find ourselves in a difficult situation. There's no denying that. No denying that whatsoever. We're going to find ourselves in a potentially difficult situation if we don't fix up and fast. Simple as that. Simple as that. Maresca, I'm not sold. I'm not convinced. It's going to be interesting, isn't it, guys? It is really going to be interesting. But do you know another thing that's kind of mad as well? Let's move away from Maresca. Which one is that it there? No. The players are obviously fuming about what's happened. You can see by the social media reactions and all that sort of thing. And apparently here, according to the Evening Standard, well, this is kind of beggars belief to me. Pochettino's successor will have to accept the authority of the board and sporting directors with the control that could even stretch into elements of on-pitch coaching. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is an utter madness if this is true. You know, why should the authority of the board be accepted? You know, when the people in charge don't know a single thing about football, why should that authority just be accepted? Why? Why? Look, the elements of on-pitch coaching. That, I mean, whether you believe that or not, I don't know, but I wouldn't put it past them. But absolutely, the other bit of having to accept the authority of the board and the sporting directors, that is 100% true. You know, you've seen the way that these guys move, that these guys operate. You know, they want what they want things. They want it their way. It's their way or the highway. Basically, is what we're saying here, and that's not a way to run a football club. You know, they talk about collaboration and wanting to, you know, collaborate with the manager, have feedback on different profiles, on potential signings and whatnot. They're all for that until it actually comes to doing it. And when it comes to doing it, they're like, actually, no, we don't want that. We're just going to give you what we think's right, and you're going to try and make it work. And if you don't make it work, then you're out. That's basically how we're operating right now. That is how we are operating as a football club. Is we are looking at this and we are going, right, okay, this is what you're getting given. You need to try and make it work. No back chat, no questioning our decision making. This is what you'll get. You're given this, and if you make it work, fantastic. If you don't, on your bike. And there's no leeway in anything whatsoever on that front. And that's just a dreadful way to operate at a football club. A dreadful way. People need to understand that the protesting doesn't do anything. When it was for something like the Super League, fine, totally different. This protesting is not going to do anything. You know, and I think the club structure right now is a massive problem, and it's going to be a massive problem for a number of people. A number of people. So yeah, I don't see how anyone can possibly can possibly trust these people to make the right decision. But protest doesn't do anything. No, look, the directors. I'm shocked that the direct. I'm not shocked, but how the directors are still there is beyond me, completely and utterly beyond me. How the directors are still there, guys. I understand it. I don't understand it at all. I'm shocked. You know, I'm shocked they're still there. They shouldn't be anywhere near it. They shouldn't be anywhere near it whatsoever. But yet, here they are. They're still here, and they're being trusted to lead another managerial search, despite them proving incapable of doing that. Incapable of doing that. Of making any sort of right decisions. It's shocking. Absolutely shocking. And, you know, people wonder why fans have got no faith with this ownership, because when they make decisions like this, they're not exactly endearing themselves to the fan base any way whatsoever. Any way whatsoever at all. By the way, guys, 175 in the building. Big up to everyone that's locked in. 148 likes. Let's get this past 150. Keep smashing that like button, guys, and keep subscribing to the channel as well. Up on the subscribers. Guys, we're 30 subscribers away from 9.4. Let's try and knock those off in the next 5-10 minutes or so. Let's try and knock those off in the next 5 or 10 minutes. I know that's slightly ambitious, but let's get it done, people. You guys are good people. 183 in the building. Just 30 of you people need to hit that subscribe button, which will take you less than a second to do. So let's try and knock as many of those 30 off as we possibly can. I mean, let's not even think about what the Ricketts was going to be like. Let's not even think about that. But yeah, look, I think it's clear that this needs changing. This needs evolving. Let's. I've got no faith that they're going to change anything. This is the big problem. No faith that anything is going to change, and that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem. And again, the Athletic have just put something out. It's more about to do with why Poch went, but they're saying why Mauricio Pochettino chose concern over the club imposed structure, valid. Initial doubts over the Caicedo Fernandez pairing. Owner's desire for a coach who teaches football, training methods, and injury record. So I presume then once Pochettino's gone, we're going to have no injuries and everything's going to be fine. I don't want to hear anyone say to me next season when we still have injury problems that is the manager's fault, because we had less injuries this season than we did under Thomas Tuchel. So, and where were the people calling out Tuchel's training methods for our injuries? They weren't. They absolutely weren't. So this is where we're at. But I think the biggest thing for me is the club structure. That's really the number one reason why they agreed to part ways. And I genuinely believe that it was probably 60-40 or 70-30, him wanting to go in the end, as opposed to them wanting him to leave. That's my view on the matter. I just think it got to a point where he's like, do you know what? I can't work in this environment. I can't work under these directors. I can't work under this structure. We've had injury problems. We've had the highest amount of injuries in the Premier League for the last 3 seasons, and people are telling me that the injury problems is down to is a managerial problem. Maybe some methods might have contributed, but this has been a club-wide problem for a number of years now. This is not a new thing this season. Do you know what I mean? This is not a new thing this season. So it is what it is. This is where we're at. There's no point sort of revisiting Poch and him going. He's gone. Bro, the structure's dog shit. It's basically it's their way or no way, which is no way to operate a football club. You've got people making decisions in high places that have quite frankly got no right to be there. You know, what self-respecting sporting directors, you know, or how can you as a manager work for a football club where players key to how you want to play and key to the team's success this season, you want to sell them and you won't retain key players a manager wants, and you're not prepared to listen to any insight they might have on any possible transfers in terms of player profiles and whatnot. That is not a way to operate as a football club. Like how people can't see that the structure at this club from top to bottom is rotten and awful is beyond me. I mean, look, it could be Maresca, it could be Chelsea have stepped up. This is Sky. I don't know, they're a bit late to the party on this one. Chelsea have stepped up their interest in Leicester manager Enzo Maresca after the departure of Pochettino. I don't know, they're a bit late to the party on that one. Quite possibly, I don't think that's new information. I think that was reported by Damartio before. Pochettino is supposed to be managing the World 11 for Soccer at Stamford. Yeah, it's going to be quite embarrassing, and I believe that's still the plan. It's going to be Poch and Lampard. I believe that is absolutely still the plan. Yeah, and Winstanley and Stewart absolutely fucked it. We want collaboration, but then we don't. But until it comes to the part where we need to collaborate, and then we're no longer interested in collaboration. That's basically where we're at right now. Can't express enough how much I hate these owners and the sporting directors. I agree. Yeah, I think that, well, to start with, yeah, but then as soon as something goes wrong, they'll be the same old idiots that then turn against the manager. That's the reality. Yes, big up. They are more ruthless than Abramovich. At least Roman acted like a fan. These guys are all about the money. It seems to be that way at the moment. It seems to be that way. Let's have a look what's being said here. The Athletic inside piece. Despite praising him publicly, Pochettino privately questioned whether Enzo was destructive enough to be a 6 or creative enough to be an 8. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to tell whether that's true or not. I don't know. But look, it is what it is. I'm just tired of everything. I'm just tired of going through like managerial stuff summer after summer, new search, starting again, players, tear it all up in 6 to 12 months time and then go again. It's tiresome. It's really, really tiresome, guys. There's no denying that. It's really tiresome. Enzo was here before Poch, yep. I think Enzo's the top player, but there's obviously been some issues about how they feel he fits in. That's the reality. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think it's clear though that when you spend big money on players, there is pressure from above to play those players, regardless of whether you think they're the right fit for the team or regardless to whether you want to play them or not. I think there's huge pressure from above when it's a big investment to play the players. That's how I'm kind of seeing this one, people. That's how I'm kind of seeing it. Let's have a look if there's any more stuff coming out, guys, and I'm going to round this one out because I've got a few things to do tonight. Key points of tension between Pochettino and Chelsea led to the head coach's willingness to fit in with the club's imposed structure. Fair. Initial skepticism over midfield pairing of Caicedo and Enzo. Pochettino's one sense that he was one of the few experienced operators in the building. I mean, there were disagreements, and but look, at the end of the day, it was probably right that he left the club for his own good, if that's what he was seeing. Look, I've got no doubts in my mind that I think Enzo Fernandez will be a top player for Chelsea. It's just about how we sort of go about fitting him in. That's the reality of the situation here. But right now, it appears that Mckenna and Maresca are probably the two front runners, with Frank also probably not far behind. And then Sebastian Hoeneß is seen as a little bit of an outsider due to how difficult it is going to be to get him away from Stuttgart. So that's kind of where we lie, guys. That is the lie of the land right now. In terms of the managerial situation, that's where we're at right now. It's proving tricky. There's no doubt about it. It's proving really, really hard, guys. It's proving really hard. But what can we do? Inside details. Pochettino proposed that the club sign 2 experienced players that he had worked with before to add some knowledge. That request was denied. This is what I mean about not listening to the manager or not backing the manager. If a manager requests some experienced players, give him the experienced players. Why is there a reluctance to try and give a manager what he wants, to give the manager the tools that he thinks he needs to do the job? Why is there such a problem with that? Why is there such a problem with that? I honestly don't get it, people. I honestly do not understand it. Why is there such a problem with that? Yeah, but that's where we're at, guys. It looks like Mckenna and Maresca are the 2 front runners. Frank also on the shortlist. Hoeneß is going to be difficult to get out. Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, players that he's managed before. I don't know I don't know who those players would have been. I've got no idea whatsoever. It could have been players that had played at Espanyol in the past. It could have been players that had played at Southampton before. We don't know. We don't know. But ultimately, You know, he requested experience, regardless of where they played before. He requested some experience, which everyone knows we need, and that was denied. You know, you go to matches. What's the response been from the fans? I think there's a lot. I mean, some people are pleased about it, you know, because it's what they wanted. Others are not happy about it. Think it's the wrong decision. McKenna's a good manager, lads, but he's not loyal to Ipswich. And I can tell you now, McKenna is unlikely to be at Ipswich next season. Whether he's at Chelsea or not, I think he'll be at Brighton if that's the case. But yeah, guys, I've got things to do tonight. So gonna have to wrap this one up here. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Another big show. Really enjoyed it as always. Big up to all of you guys that tuned in. It's greatly appreciated. Please, guys, on the way out, keep smashing the thumbs up button. Keep subscribing to the channel as well. Let's get this to 9.4K, guys. I don't know how many more we need. Probably somewhere between 20 and 30. Please hit the subscribe button on the way out. Please smash the likes on the way out as well. Guys, I will see you all tomorrow for another update in the Chelsea managerial search and any transfer news that might appear. But I think right now the transfer news is on the back burners and it's all go on the managerial front. So guys, join me tomorrow, 5 p.m. UK time for all the latest Chelsea manager news. Until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Smash the like, subscribe, up the Chelsea. Love with the support as always. Peace out.